I'd like to thank all the men and women who serve in our military, both wearing the uniform and as civilians. As I say often, national security is holistic and not just defense spending. Do Americans have the health care that they need? Are we providing good nutrition to our kids so that they can eventually grow up strong and serve in our armed forces? Cuts to Medicaid and SNAP and the reconciliation bill put the whole of our society at risk, and I believe that this weakens our national security. Also, billionaires can have their tax breaks. It's also irresponsible for us to assume that you can fund the defense programs through an unstable reconciliation process. That's why it's never happened before in our nation's history. What else has never happened before was the Departments of Defense operating under a full-year continuing resolution. The CR was endorsed by President Trump, OMB Director Voigt, and you, Mr. Secretary. After enactment of the CR, the department had 45 days to submit a spend plan to Congress. In many cases, it ignored congressional intent. OMB has an obligation to get money to the services so that contracts can be executed in a timely fashion. But every defense company, from the smallest startup to the largest prime, has told me it is going too slow. Time and taxpayers' dollars are being wasted. Our national security is being put at risk because of the lag time. CRs are simply wasteful. But the point of this hearing is the President's fiscal 2026 budget request, and we don't have it. It was due in February. Today is June 10th. 4 months from now is the end of the fiscal year, and all we have is a very rough draft. The DoD has failed to submit a complete request. So today we are forced to mark up at a rushed and, for me, an incomplete Defense Appropriations Act. I don't blame Chairman Cole or Chairman Calvert. The fault is squarely on the administration. But just like the CR, this has national security ramifications. We do not have the critical information, the granular details on the DoD programs that we need to make in order to be effective and efficient with our decisions. The President proposes, Congress disposes, and that's how our government works. How can I work with this administration in good faith when we don't have a full blueprint of the President's priorities? For example, Golden Dome at this point is merely a concept. It's not a plan. None of us have been briefed yet on how you intend to spend $175 billion or deliver this program in 3 short years. We do not know if priorities like Golden Dome, if they do not survive the reconciliation process, what will the department do? You can't come back to this committee and ask us to fill those gaps. Defense spending should never have been included in reconciliation. Mr. Secretary, it's still incumbent upon you to provide us with the real budget request. It's the only way to finish a full-year bill that will address DoD's complex issues, like delays to the Virginia and Columbia-class submarine programs, the skyrocketing cost of the Sentinel program, ensuring our F-35 fighters are operational, and taking care of the quality of life issues for our service members and their families that they deserve. We also must understand the administration's approach to geopolitical concerns, like Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine, or plans to address the military capabilities of the People's Republic of China, or adequately support our future military posture in the Arctic as the polar ice cap continues to melt. We don't know the answers because the administration has not submitted a budget. Mr. Secretary, let me close with this. There's no secret that we have some serious disagreements. The President's decision to call the National Guard troops to Los Angeles was premature, and the decision to deploy active duty Marines as well is downright escalatory. Active duty military has absolutely no role in domestic law enforcement, and they are not trained for those missions. I ask you, Mr. Secretary, and I ask the President, follow the law. I was also appalled by your decision to fire Chairman Brown, Admiral Franchetti, and other military leaders who served our nation with distinction. You fired them without giving a single reason why. Many Americans, myself included, have witnessed what is a deliberate effort to silence and diminish the achievements of minorities and women in the military. Their dedication, their heroism, their sacrifice on behalf of our nation deserve recognition, not erasure. As a former history teacher, I know and acknowledge uncomfortable truths about our own history. It is the only way, when we recognize them, that we move forward together. Since World War II, the department has made great strides in building a military that is more reflective of the population of this nation. That should be celebrated. It should not be reversed. That's how we build a more perfect union. We build it together. But Mr. Secretary, today I have a job to do. We must provide the resources necessary to make sure our men and women in uniform can accomplish their missions and come home safely. And on that, Mr. Secretary, I'm sure you and I both agree. To do that, we need a budget from you as soon as possible, a complete budget. I look forward to your testimony. Mr. Chairman, I thank you for the courtesy, and I yield back.
Thank you. And before we hear from witness, I'd like to recognize the